The Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is the place to be for gaming news. Covers all your gaming content needs. Bunch of game reviews, interviews, walkthroughs, guides, you name it, everything in gaming. Right now, go check out their featured previews of Watch Dogs Legion and the new Assassin's Creed. They got Mike Tyson interviews, Ice-T interviews, and an upcoming classic Tetris World Championship finals in December. They'll be covering that. Also, go check out their stream on Twitch. They cover everything in gaming. Asif and that whole crew, super laid back, awesome content for gaming. So if you like quality video game content, Shack News is your spot all summer long. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle at Shack News, and most importantly at shacknews.com. Go check them out.
Hi everyone, Tim Kinzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air, Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Free Shakalaka. Reflog. It's just golfer backwards. Boom Shakalaka.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2020. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. Chris, how you doing?
Good, Dave. I got the Indians on. They're winning a meaningless game, but it's baseball nonetheless.
There we go. And we've got back again, the one and only Breezy Clee. How are you?
Hello. I do not have the Indians on because I can't find them on my station. So I'm bitter.
You problem.
Bree, talking about some Shack News, they're doing the Tetris tournament. When are we doing our Dr. Mario tournament?
Oh my gosh, yes.
We got to hook that up.
We do.
All right, we're running a few minutes late, so tonight on the show, we will get right into it. So we're going to kick off with Power Rank Monday, our favorite women in sports. They're getting so much bullshit, they have been for so long. Time to get some positivity around women in sports. After that, we're going to have our featured interview with sports media reporter Bobby Burack. Then we'll break down the Cleveland headlines this week. We actually have sports on right now. It's weird. Indians opener on Friday. Myles Garrett's the Memorial. We're going to talk to Chris about that. Should be interesting stuff. Chris, I know you tuned in for that. We'll hit you with a couple Would You Rathers and give you our bold predictions for the week. But let's kick things off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
All right, so after that horrible Redskins story came out this week, many women in sports media came out with stories of their own, showing that there's huge issues with the way women are treated in sports. It's been that way for a very, very long time. So we are going to try our best, bring some positivity here to the Power Rank and rank our favorite women in sports. So I will kick it off with my number 3. I'm going with Bree and Gab, the Big Play Reflog co-hosts, for different reasons. Bree, for your Browns knowledge, always bringing it, probably knows way more than me and a lot of you out there about the Browns, and crushing it on her other podcast that she's hosting. That's what B said. So
thanks, Dave.
Awesome stuff there. And Gab, for her Indians knowledge and probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. So awesome stuff from them. My number 2, I'm going Cammie Justice right here in Cleveland. Does
good choice.
Phenomenal work for News 5. A lot of great articles out there. And something I like her a lot for is once we actually have a Browns season, Browns in-game tweeting, one of the best. So give
Yes.
her a follow during the Browns season. Phenomenal stuff out of Cammie. And then my number one, the GOAT, Doris Burke. Probably one of the best in the entire NBA, man or woman, doesn't matter. And the meanest handle you will ever see from a sideline reporter. Have you ever seen this? She's carrying her laptop to go sit down, and she'll grab the basketball and just dribble like crazy. She's
Love that.
fantastic. Doris Burke, number one. Chris, what do you got?
So for my number 3, Dave,
Nope.
wrong music, Dave. That's not the ding.
That's not a deal. I was really hyping up your number 3.
That's right. Allie LaForce. Going
Yes.
local here. She, of course, got her start here. She's a local woman and is now making it big on the national scene. So Allie LaForce is my number 3.
She's phenomenal.
She really is. She really is, and making big waves out there.
Yeah.
My number 2, Katie Nolan. First of all, I think she's hilarious. Second of all, she had a pretty good riff on the Browns parade and kind of talked it up back when I did that whole thing. So, of course, that earned my ever-dying respect. So, love what she does. Katie Nolan.
Did she go on a good rant about you?
About the parade and how she
Okay.
thought it was great. She completely understood it, understood the tongue-in-cheek nature of it, and thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, she's a woman. Of course she gets it.
Of course
That's
she
right.
does, right? My number 1. Been getting it for years. She is another GOAT, Linda Cohn. I remember watching ESPN
Oh my God, yeah.
back
her.
in the day, and she was just fantastic. You know, you had such a great stable of Sports Center anchors, and she was one. And she not only kept up with them, but also added her own flavor, and I thought it was just fantastic. I've also heard her on the radio several times. She hosted a show in New York for a while, and I don't know if she still does some national stuff, but very, very talented, and also one of those that was a trailblazer for many others behind her. So props to Linda Cohn.
Good list. A lot of six
Chris,
great
I believe
ones.
you're missing a couple of people
Right?
on
And
your
Bree
list.
and Gab, of course.
I saw his list and I was like, really?
I mean,
Wow.
ouch. I guess Dave is my favorite co-host.
Well, that's
well, I
obvious.
kind of figured that anyway. Bree, what are your 3?
All right, guys. So my number 3, I had to go very broad here because there's just so many women local to the Cleveland market that I enjoy following and interacting with. So I'm just generalizing with all of Girl Gang Cleve, which is kind of what we call all of the wonderful women that tweet sports, follow sports, report on it. But there's a lot of us, and it's wonderful.
And you guys have a Twitter handle now.
Yes, at Girl Gang Cleve. Make sure you follow us.
That's right.
Or we'll block you if you're mean. So my number 2 is Miss Kay Adams. I love her. She's my spirit animal. I have the biggest girl crush on her. I love watching her on NFL Network when I used to get NFL Network, but I always catch up on clips online since I have YouTube TV, and we don't have NFL Network, but that's a different rant for a different day.
But now we have MTV, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. And finally, number 1, another local girl, another Allie, Miss Allie Clifton, former sideline Cavs reporter who moved with LeBron to LA. I was so sad when she left the Cavs here, but I love her, still support her. She's great, and also just a really nice human being.
Boom. You know who else is a nice human being?
Who's that?
Mike Freeman. He just went yard. Friend of show.
Woo!
Oh,
There you
he's
go.
he's
Indians
crushing
hitting
it.
a little bit tonight.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, phenomenal group of women there. There's plenty more out there. Thanks for everyone's replies on that tweet. Go show them support, especially in Twitter, because Twitter can be an awful place. Having said that, let's bring in our featured guest of the week. We will be back with you here in 30 seconds. right, we are live with sports media reporter for Outkick, Bobby Burack. Bobby, welcome to the Big Play Reflog show, man. How are you?
Hey, man, I appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you taking some time. So I know there's a lot going on in the sports world nowadays. Sports are finally starting to pick up, but let's go back locally here in Cleveland real quick. What do you make of the shakeups on ESPN radio on that side of things with our Cleveland guy Mike Golick now out? And any insights into that?
Yeah, so ESPN was the one that made the decision to remove Mike Golick from morning radio after 23 years in that spot. He did not want to move. He told management that, and he later confirmed what I and others had reported, that it was ESPN's decision to move him. He said on air that he expressed to them that he wanted to stay, but they wanted to move in another direction. So pre-pandemic, when the world was a completely different place, there was a lot of talk around the industry that ESPN wanted to revamp its radio lineup in a big way and bring it back to what it once was, which was really a dominant sports radio network across the country. They did revamp it, but it isn't quite what they wanted it to be or what people around the industry had hoped for it to be. I'm told that their ideal pairing for morning radio was Max Kellerman and Keyshawn Johnson. That didn't happen. Max Kellerman instead is going to stay on First Take, which airs immediately after morning radio, and host a radio show from 2 to 4 p.m. So they got the Keyshawn thing nailed down. Keyshawn's going to join the morning show, but he's going to be paired with Zubin and Jay Williams. That's a trio that I'm not very high on, nor are people that I'm speaking to. Affiliates don't seem thrilled about this. It's hard to do radio with two co-hosts, let alone two co-hosts that you haven't worked with daily before. I don't know if that show is going to work. I think removing Mike Golick from there. Now, listen, Golick is someone that he's definitely declined in national cachet since Greenberg left the morning radio show, but he's still likable, relatable, and as well known as any radio host in the country that hosts about sports. I truly believe that he's as well known as like Colin Cowherd, maybe not Dan Patrick because of what Dan Patrick did on TV at ESPN and NBC, which included Sunday Night Football and the Olympics. But losing Golick is not going to sit well with the radio listeners.
Yeah, I'm with you there. He's obviously a fan favorite here in Cleveland, Ohio. Sad to see him go. But talking about something that's not likable, a lot of people were kind of turned off by baseball after watching these owners and players argue over money, safety, length of the season. Finally getting back to things here. Where do you kind of side on that feud that we saw over the last month?
Well, I've got to say, this might be the first time I've received a baseball question in my life. So I'm honored that I'm asked as a baseball expert. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, like everybody else, I was turned off by the whole thing. With so many people in the country off work at the time, baseball is really maybe not the country's national pastime anymore, but it's still a beloved sport around the country. And I thought bringing baseball back during a pandemic when so many were off work, stuck at home, forced to find new hobbies, I thought baseball could have brought a lot of people together, and they really missed that opportunity. When it was clear that it wasn't going to come back in June, I thought, okay, well, maybe bring it back 4th of July. That'd be the perfect time for baseball to come back. And I believe they could have done it. I think if they would have gotten talks right, weren't so greedy on both sides, they could have gotten baseball here a lot sooner, and it would have been such a big deal. Now, baseball's coming back this week, right before the NBA, a lot of NFL training camp talk, also the NHL, which isn't going to take too much attention away. But I think now baseball is going to be forced to share the spotlight where they could have owned it for the first time in decades, where the attention would have been on Major League Baseball. So that's obviously something that I think was a major mistake on both the players and the owner side. And also, speaking of baseball as a whole, fans, as you mentioned when you asked me this question, are so disgusted by the way the talks went. Are we sure that all baseball fans are going to be as giddy for opening day as they usually are? because there's a lot of people that I've spoken to that are just turned off by baseball in general because of the fact that the season is so reduced, because not because of just the pandemic, because of financial issues and quote unquote greed.
As long as we can make payroll here, I suppose that I'll grab my beer and peanuts. But yeah, I hear you there. Let's keep going with some baseball, man. You know your stuff. Don't worry, we got another one for you.
Okay, here we go.
so obviously bringing it home to Cleveland, fans have been complaining about, cheap ownership here with the Indians. What are your thoughts about owners of sports teams crying poor? Because that's what a lot of owners I know do, and that's what the Dolans will do at times, saying that we're a small market and can't really compete. What are your thoughts on that overall?
Well, when you talk about cheap owners or poor owners, I think the football side, most people think about the Raiders. I think it's the poorest NFL franchise from the ownership standpoint, really by far. We saw the impact that had with Khalil Mack when they didn't resign, or when they didn't extend him. They instead traded him, which now doesn't seem like an awful decision because they're going to accumulate draft picks. They're actually on the right trajectory, but you're still losing a once in a generation type player. Same thing for baseball. When you can't keep your players, your homegrown players, that's a problem. And it's hard for the fans, I think, to support a team when it's like, okay, well, that billionaire or quasi-billionaire isn't willing to spend some of his extra money. Why should we spend all this money on tickets in a normal year? Obviously, they can't do that this year. I think it sends a bad message to the fan base because they don't make nearly as much as the players. They certainly will never see the money that the owners make, at least per fan on an average basis. So yeah, I think when owners cry poor, they're obviously crying poor compared to other owners, not the average person. And from what I can tell, I mean, I've never found anybody that doesn't care less about rich owners not making enough money. Like, that's the biggest turnoff there might be. We have going. The average person that wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, gets ready for work, works a long day, comes home, makes dinner, hangs out with their family, and by then it's 7 o'clock, they're exhausted. They do not want to hear about owners saying they don't have enough money. So, they're not going to get any sympathy from any sports fans.
So each of the pro sports leagues, now that we've got some starting up, baseball, obviously this week, you have football on the horizon, you've got hockey, you've got NBA and the bubble. They each have different plans in place to start the season. Which do you think of those sports is handling it the best right now, and which do you think is handling it the worst thus far?
Well, the best, I would say, are we including the UFC and Fight Island? Does that count?
Sure, because I think that is just fantastic, by the way. The
whole concept
of Fight Island.
Awesome.
Yes.
Kudos to Dana White. I mean, you probably were asking me some of the sports, the team leagues, which was doing the best. But I think definitely the UFC. I think what they're doing at Fight Island, Dana White, the way they're promoting that thing. By the way, that fight 2 weeks ago, UFC 153, 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. That's more than McGregor Cerrone got earlier this year. So not only is that thing fun to watch, it's also working. Speaking of the leagues that have teams, I think the NBA is the one that's handling the best out of those. They're doing such a good job of being cautious of player safety and reporter safety. I've talking to a lot of people that know the reporters down there, and they're like, "Hey, Bobby, these guys are being so safe. They wearing monitors with red or green lights, whether they test positive or not." And anyone that follows me knows I have a lot of criticisms of the NBA, especially right now with the way they're handling the Hong Kong stuff or lack thereof, but they're handling the COVID and the return to play much better than a league like the NFL, which has had so long to figure something out. And it sounds like, or at least it looked like as of yesterday, players are not happy with the league, which seems to have no idea how to safely return to play.
What do you think about that movement right now? The hashtag We Want to Play. We've got Myles Garrett here locally, has really gone out and been ahead of that thing. What are you seeing with that? Does it have momentum? What's been the reaction of fans so far? Because I've seen kind of a mixed bag.
Well, it really is something that we've seen the NFL pivot toward the past couple of years, which I would call like the NBAization of the NFL, where the players are getting louder voices and really want to push back at the owners who have long had really all the power in the National Football League. What struck me was Patrick Mahomes when he joined in on that, because Mahomes, who just got the most lucrative sports deal in the history of sports, he's the face of the NFL right now. He leads that. He's much more outspoken on these issues, or just issues in general, than his predecessors who held that title previously: Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Drew Brees isn't the best example now, but those guys were not nearly as outspoken on this. Patrick Mahomes seems like he's taken it upon himself to be that vocal leader of football players. We saw LeBron James do that in basketball. I think when you see someone like Mahomes tweet that out, all the other players now feel that, okay, we can do that now. So I believe that's a big thing, because, if we dealt with a pandemic 5, 6, 7 years ago, I'm not sure Tom Brady tweets that out. And if he doesn't, I believe a lot of players sit back like, well, I'm just going to let this play out. I'm not going to get involved, because that hasn't been the way NFL players have conducted themselves in years past.
A good segue into Patrick Mahomes, Bobby, because you wrote an article outlining his 5 most likely rivals in the league. And I couldn't help but notice you did not have one Baker Mayfield on that list. And we're here to ask you for a formal apology for that.
So let me ask you this. When you speak about Baker Mayfield being a competitor to Patrick Mahomes, are we talking on the field or in commercials and buzz? Because they're two totally separate things. Because on the field, I could go pretty deep on that list before I get to Baker Mayfield.
Listen, if we have a season this year, we're about to find out if you were wrong in your article. I will just say that.
Let me ask. So let me put it back to you. If the Philadelphia Eagles, and they would never do this because they're a well-run franchise, if they came to you and said, hey, Bree, we'll trade you Carson Wentz for Baker Mayfield, are you not doing that instantly and never looking back?
Absolutely not. Oh. Absolutely not.
For Carson
I will take
Wentz?
Baker over Carson.
Stick to your guns, Bree. Stick to your guns.
And listen, let me just tell you another difference between Pat Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. Pat Mahomes never had Freddie Kitchens as his coach, so I'm going to give Baker the benefit of the doubt.
Or Jimmy Haslam as his owner.
Back and forth with you, but that's kind of like a knockout punch, Bree. You're right. When you bring up Freddie Kitchens, that's like conversation's over.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, we had to live it. So speaking of Baker Mayfield, he's had obviously some very public feuds with Colin Cowherd. Do you think that Colin picks on him intentionally for ratings, or do you think he actually believes everything that he says about Baker?
So, like in any industry, you play the hits, right? If you had a rap station in the 90s, you're probably playing Biggie if you're on the East Coast, Tupac on the West Coast. If you're a rock station, you're playing Nirvana. Baker Mayfield was a hit, especially for Colin Cowherd. So does he believe it? Who knows? I don't know if anybody believes anything they say on TV or radio, to be quite honest. But listen, Cowherd knows what he's doing. Baker Mayfield's been a needle mover for his show. He's even been on his show to come push back on it. So, yeah, I think that there's always athletes that certain popular radio and TV hosts want to have back and forth with, because it is good for the ratings. And I'm sure Baker Mayfield is great for the herd. So, yeah, I think it's a strategic business move, if you let me slide on that. I think that's a good way to sum it up.
Oh, lost it there. It's just for a second. I apologize there, Bobby. Is there anything on the horizon you think right now that you see in the media as a direct result of COVID, and maybe kind of the changing landscape? We saw ESPN move some things around. You saw today with Fox and their website, they're changing up they're going and reinvesting some money there. You see, it just feels like there's a changing landscape right now, and maybe COVID was the kind of the impetus to make people think about things a little bit differently. Do you see any big trends that maybe people should be looking out for here in the next few weeks or upcoming months?
Well, the big one has been contract negotiations. You look at people that have recently left ESPN: Adam Amin, Emmanuel Acho. Will Kane, Skip Bayless contract is coming up in September. All these deals have been pretty much halted to some degree by COVID because networks are not able to offer as much money. If we lived in an alternate universe where COVID never happened, I think sports media would look a lot different right now. I believe a lot of people would have stayed at ESPN and vice versa. More people would have come over. Same with Fox, CBS, NBC, because networks have not been able to pay the salaries that they have planned on paying. And don't forget also, most networks, Fox, ESPN, NFL Network, they've had their top paid on-air talents take pay cuts, about 15%. It's a bad look asking your talent to take pay cuts than going signing outside talent. So these networks haven't been looking to sign too many outside talent, knowing that their current talent are taking pay cuts for about 3 months. So that's number one. Number two, COVID has also, I think, really opened eyes about which host, reporters, writers are able to excel when games aren't giving them content like a machine every single day. Certain hosts have really succeeded doing that. Others not so much. By doing that, some have elevated and it could really make a case, hey, look, I don't need games. You just give me a mic, you give me a laptop, you give me whatever, I can make it happen. Others have shown that they just don't have the ability to carry a show unless they're reacting to games. And that does hurt their value compared to others, like someone like Paul Feinbaum, who his show is as entertaining as ever, having his callers talk about real world issues as opposed to college football. Now, I'd prefer him to talk college football, as would his fans, but he has shown that he didn't miss a beat when he didn't have sports to talk about. I can't say that for every single host or the majority of them.
It's interesting. What a different time. It's amazing the way COVID has affected so many things. And now you look at sports media, it's really reshaping things. Bobby, thank you very much for coming on and kind of helping us navigate some of those changes in the landscape. Where can people follow you at?
My Twitter account. You'll see a lot of angry people in my mentions most days. So if you're looking to get a laugh, it could be a good place to start. I'll start there. I'm actually not that big on social media outside of Twitter. Like I do tweet my links, and I also, like to break some things down. But I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. What else is there?
Well, your Twitter handle is at Burack Bobby _.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to get rid of the.
You got the hook at the end.
Trying to get rid of the underscore, but Twitter's threatening if I take it off, I'm going to lose my verification check. So I think I'm going to deal with the underscore. But yeah, I'm actually not that big on social media. That's about the only place you could find me. Like I said, no Instagram. Don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not on Twitch. What else is there?
I don't know. There you go, TikTok. You don't have a TikTok yet? All right.
Not on TikTok. See, I don't think social media is for someone like me who wants to push back on what's going on. See, I think that all these other platforms are for people that are safe. People want to go on there and bring smiles. Someone like me that wants to push back and bring a new perspective, I don't think they want me on those platforms.
They don't want you out there pissing people off. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a fascinating follow for me. I will continue to follow you, and I will look for my opportunities to take my knocks at you, especially if you come after Baker.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, I don't think I've lost very many Twitter battles. I've been in a lot of them. But the way Bree came back with Freddie Kitchens has me a little concerned. Like, if she pops up my mentions, I think I might have to pause for a little bit and make sure I'm equipped to go to battle with her.
You better watch, Bobby. You better watch.
I think she got me. I mean, the first time in a while, I'll admit I might have lost the debate.
I'm pretty sassy, so beware. You've been warned.
Yeah. She's an all-star at Cleveland Twitter and Browns Twitter for sure. She's definitely top-end starter right there. So you got to watch out. Bobby, thank you so much for coming on. We'll catch you next time.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, Bobby Burack, good stuff out of him. And Chris, you forgot Bree, TikTok influencer megastar.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I love me some TikTok, you guys.
That's right. All right, let's get into some headlines. We got actual sports on. Where's the button? There it is.
Hit it. Dave, right now I'm watching the Indians, and as the Indians season starts, which starts this Friday, and Cleveland Clothing Company is going to be here to help us represent the tribe in style with their navy and red collection. If you want to get ahead of the curve, they even have a Cleveland Spiders shirt that you can get when you visit any one of their locations, like downtown on East 4th, the Summit Mall in Akron, and Shaker Heights, or by the Big Play Studio right here in Crocker Park. And if you shop on their website at clevelandclothingco.com, remember to use our promo code BIGPLAY20, get 20% off your purchase, Dave.
That is right. Yeah, they've had that Spider shirt for a very, very long time.
No Guardians yet or Blue Sox?
Not
I'm kind of
yet.
surprised.
Yeah, come on, Cleveland Twitter. T-shirts. Let's get it going. All right. So as Chris mentioned while talking about Cleveland Clothing Company, the Indian season opener is this Friday. They will start with 3 games against the Kansas City Royals. So let's give some predictions with a little bit of a gut check.
Gut check.
Gut check.
This is gut check time. Gut check time.
All right. Chris, Indians record this season, they're playing 60.
40-20. How about that?
Woo. That's good.
Like
I'll take
that?
it. I'll take it.
Little
Bree,
666 right there.
Oh,
40-20.
what do you think, Bree?
I was actually going to go with 45-15.
Wow, only 15
Whoa,
losses.
God,
I
we're
like
really
that.
drinking some Kool-Aid over here, man.
Well, you know,
I mean,
we
might
missed
win
this.
22 in a row.
Yeah.
Out of this, I don't know. It could happen.
I'm insane saying 40. You are just way. I don't know what's wrong with you, Bree, saying
So
45.
positive. So
Now Dave's going to come in at 50. He's just got to up everybody, right?
60-0. No.
60, why not?
You know what, though? We missed the part of the season where with Tito, we always have a slow start.
Yeah.
Yes.
We dropped
See?
that out. We're ready to get right into that, what Bree just mentioned, that 20-some game winning streak. I think we're ready. I think I'm going to go 48-12.
Yeah.
48-12. Why the hell
Stop
not?
being so negative.
God, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that's all me. That's all me. See, we just fast forwarded in the season. Now we're in the Baker Mayfield shotgunning beers part of the season.
We
which is
really
the
are.
fun
We
part,
really
right?
are. Yeah. Chris, team MVP this year? Who's your prediction?
Oh, we're gonna have to go Francisco Lindor, right?
Yeah, and that's all
Right?
we'll say about
and
him.
He's gonna stay with the team all season long.
That's
Damn it.
right. That's right. Bree, team MVP that's not named Francisco Lindor.
Ooh, that one is tough.
Bradley Zimmer.
I know, I love him.
Maybe
2 for 2
He
tonight.
might,
He had a
he
double.
might be the comeback kid.
Mike
Yeah,
Freeman.
I think so. I really think so. I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah, so I'll go with Jose. I feel like he's a good next option.
Yes.
Jose.
What do you guys think for a home run leader, Bree?
I'm gonna go with Carlos.
Yeah, that's a solid choice.
Man, I was thinking Carlos. How about Franmil? Come on.
Yeah. The
I think
new
so. If he could
svelte,
stay out of the
muscular
clubs
Fred
and
Mill,
not
yeah.
get the COVID.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. That is true.
He's got to stay out of the clubs, and then maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? A 4th of July party that he got busted for?
Yeah, he didn't
Was
wear
that
a
him?
mask to it.
Yeah,
But-
got to wear your mask, man.
That's right.
No
If you're
home
going to
run
lead this
winnings
club
there.
in home runs,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't help the club from quarantine.
Chris, I definitely thought you were going to say they were going to call up the assassin and he was
Bobby
going
Bradley.
to lead the league.
Actually, how about this one? My new love, Yu Chang.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice. Okay.
Yu Chang is fantastic. By the way, you should give him a follow on Twitter if you don't. He's so innocent on Twitter and just so fun. He's just he's literally like how I would imagine I would have been being a kid coming up, playing the sport that I love. He's just I don't know. It's just refreshing to see. He's without any pretext or anything. He's just a fun guy, and he's raking this summer camp. So good to see. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a lot of Yu Chang this year with expanded rosters. I mean, anything can happen, man.
That's right. Anything can happen. Angels in the outfield. right, let's talk some positive Browns news because Myles Garrett got paid. Former number 1 pick received 5-year extension worth $125 million, making him the highest paid defensive end in the NFL. Bree, good deal for the Browns. I don't know how you couldn't say no. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a great deal, right?
Absolutely. Everybody that was mad about this, I mean, okay, let's just rewind a minute and just say how much of a genius move this was on Andrew Berry's part to pay this man now, 2 years ahead of time, so that we have that additional cap space in a couple of years when we have to pay the Denzel Wards of the world, hopefully Baker Mayfield, given his performance. And we're going to be extending all these other guys. So number 1, really smart move. Number 2, Myles deserves it. And I think Myles is the type that will actually back up his contract. Have you seen him working out? I think he's in the best shape of his life. Mentally, I think he's going to be there. And I think he has a lot to prove this year. And he's coming for that best player in the league position, not just defensively, just best in general.
And it's not often that you can take one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL and lock him up early like that.
Yep.
Andrew Berry. He's doing some things. I like it.
Making moves.
That's right. Chris, what does Myles need to do to make this contract worth it for Cleveland here?
Retire Ben Roethlisberger.
Wow.
Yes, Chris.
How about that, right? And he could do it now. He could do it this season. First meeting. No problem.
Maybe him and Mason Rudolph in the same season. How about that?
Take them both out.
Right.
That would make the deal. That would pay for the entire deal right there.
That's right.
You do that. Set back the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years. That would be good. I would like to see that.
So let's talk some Madden ratings because those are just coming out. Speaking of Mason Rudolph with awful Madden ratings, they were just released. Browns have 10 players rated above an 80. I used to play this game growing up. We never had any players above 80 except for our punters. So this is a good thing.
And usually tight ends. Tight ends a lot of times would rank higher.
Yeah, like I feel like Barnage was up there back in the day.
Top out at 80.
Yeah. So our top ones, Myles Garrett 93, Nick Chubb 92, OBJ 91, newly acquired Austin Hooper 89, our backup running back 87, and Denzel Ward 86, and then you got Bitonio, Landry, Olivier Vernon 82 hanging on there, and then Sheldon Richardson rounding up that top 10 at 81. Interestingly enough, Jamie Gillen 79, a little bit ahead of Baker Mayfield at 78. Bree, is that a fair ranking for Baker Mayfield? Go ahead and say no.
No, listen, Dave. I am a Baker Mayfield apologist, but I will say
that's fair.
Fine. This is probably what he deserves. And go ahead, underestimate him, Madden. It's fine. He's going to work to get a better rating this year.
Put another chip on his shoulder.
That's right.
Chris, what do you think about that? 78 for our franchise quarterback?
Didn't he come in as like an 81?
I think it was probably higher than 78.
Yeah, I think as a rookie, he came in higher than that. I don't know. What is he? A couple of points higher than Burrow right now? That's good. At least they didn't do the ultimate disrespect and put Burrow above him because that really would have gotten me going.
That's true. So you look at the AFC North, and it's Lamar's a 94, which, I mean, he's a Madden freak. He's like Michael Vick from back in the day. You got Baker 78, Josh Allen 77, Sam Darnold 73, Josh Rosen 67. So
let me remind you,
still looking like that draft
Josh
was
Rosen
pretty good.
Was the guy I wanted out of that
Same
draft
here.
class too. By
Same
the way.
here. That's so sad.
Oh, Chris.
So sad.
Ooh, 67. I'm riding with it, baby.
I think that's probably a pretty fair rating as well for Josh Rosen. But yeah, you look at the AFC North, you've got Lamar obviously as well at 94, Roethlisberger at 81, and then you've got Baker 78, Burrow 76, and then you've got Mason Rudolph 63. That's like a Charlie Fry rating.
That's so great. That's so great. I just thinking that there's somebody at EA Sports who's like a Browns fan who's just like, screw this guy.
Yeah.
I think
Can't
so.
find the audio. Well, guess what? We can right some wrongs right here in our studios at EA Sports.
That's right. He dropped 10 points just for that. Friend of the show, Jacob Phillips, 67. This is the ultimate disrespectful move that I saw out of Madden. Case Keenum, 67.
So Case Keenum, Josh Rosen, same player.
I thought Case Keenum would be more around like 78, 79, but what can you do?
Ooh, that hurts, Dave. That's got to hurt.
That hurts. Jedrick Wills, 73. Good omen for replacing Joe Thomas with that number. So
I'm feeling real nervous now. You got to have a good backup quarterback in this league, and we cannot have a backup quarterback with a 67 Madden rating going into this season.
That's weak. That's weak.
That's not very good, man. That is not very good.
Bree's like, please stop talking about video games.
Listen, can you play that on the Nintendo Switch? You can, right?
I actually have no idea.
It's a great question. Maybe if you can, I'll be into it, you guys.
There we go. Yes.
I'll be in your DMs asking for a code. Dave.
Yeah. How do I upgrade Baker Mayfield? Let's talk some golf. All right, so the Memorial wrapped up yesterday, Muirfield in Flavortown, Ohio. John Rahm won.
Dublin is now Flavortown as well. I love it.
I guess so.
Just make it Columbus, Columbus greater area. Everything is Flavortown.
It's just expanding. It's expanding. Yes. Real Course was the winner.
No doubt.
Chris, you're our resident golf expert. How difficult is that golf club down there?
Okay, so here's the thing. Basically, Jack Nicklaus, who, of course, everybody knows who Jack is. He's the mastermind behind this tournament. This is his baby. It's been respected as the fifth major for the PGA for a long, long time. So that's why you end up with like 42 of the top 50 players, one of the greatest fields that they've had in a while in any PGA event that come down for this. Jack wants to set this thing up like it's a U.S. Open. That's what he wants year in, year out. Now, there's a problem. And the problem is the course was built on an old Indian burial ground. At least it's rumored to. So it rains every year. And for the golfers out there, know that when you get rain on a golf course, what ends up happening is the greens get soft. And greens that are soft, then it makes for target golf. And these guys, PGA Tour pros, can just go in there and just all day long throw darts. But if it doesn't rain and you have hot temperatures like we had, then the course gets nice and firm. And from last week where they played a PGA Tour event there at Muirfield to this week, Jack grew up the rough. He made the pins a little bit more tucked. Everything was tighter on the greens. The greens were faster, and it played to what he ultimately has always wanted out there, which is a course with huge risk and huge reward. So you had players that are making double bogeys, not that many birdies, a lot of ugly figures. And that's exactly what Jack wanted. That's what Jack's always wanted. And I think the course played out that way. And ultimately, John Rahm ended up just essentially surviving the week. And in really wild fashion, because at the end of it, he had a chip in. And the ball may or may not have moved. And I think they ultimately decided it did not. But, a little bit of drama at the end where, he still had two strokes out there that potentially could have been added on. But he ends up taking the tournament, and it ended up being a really good one. So kudos to Jack. He got what he wanted, and it was a great tournament as the PGA goes.
Is there a new Flavortown trophy that they're doing?
There should be. Right?
There should be.
Guy
Next
Fieri
year.
comes out. If you watch it, one of the things that Jack does is right after they walk off 18, the winner walks over to Jack, and Jack always, gives him a handshake. Now, this year he did a fist bump with him with COVID, but then it'd be awesome to have Guy Fieri then come out, right behind Jack and be the second person then they see before they actually see their family or anything. It's Jack and a Guy for the new Flavortown, thing.
Oh, good God. All right, it's Would You Rather time. Bree, I have one for you. Speaking of fist bumps. All right, so Bree, would you rather have to greet everyone you meet with an elbow bump or a foot five like the Indians use? Or do you have a different alternative that you like to go with in COVID?
I mean, listen, I was never like a hugger or I don't want to be touched. So I'm okay that like there's all these rules now in place.
You're so cold, Bree.
To keep people away from me. So I liked the Indians foot tap, but like also like a head nod, a wink, a removal of the hat.
So you love social distancing.
I love social distancing. Yes. Like if only I could enforce that with like my own household.
Yeah, good
like
luck.
6 feet away.
Your kids, your husband, everybody.
Yes.
Chris, what's your go-to?
I do the elbow bump.
Really?
Kind of gotten into that. Yeah, I can
okay.
hang with an elbow bump. That's fine.
Nice.
That's fine. But did you see the Indians the other night? I mean, I tweeted that out. That was an S show. I mean, that was a mess. That was a real mess when they were trying to do the foot thing because, the guys are running off the field. So they're naturally going fast enough to do a high five, but they've got to slow down, do the kick thing. And we're going to get a player hurt. I love it.
Chris, your kids are still playing in leagues, right? Baseball.
Right.
What are they doing down there in Columbus? Because up here they're doing like just a hat wave, which I actually kind of really like. They just stand on the side and they wave their hats at each other.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do the same thing here. They line up on the first base line, the third base line, both teams in front of their dugouts, and then they do a hat tip to the other team at the end. I thought it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. And they could continue to do that.
There we go.
I'm like you.
Hat
There are
tip.
a lot of new things that are coming out with the social distancing that I'm okay with, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love quarantine. I
too.
don't mind at all. Like we get restaurant quality food delivered to the door.
Yes.
We've had
Well.
groceries delivered. I was like, this is
Yes, I'm
living.
with you, Dave.
And then you've got movies that I know a lot of them have been postponed, but like there are some movies that you buy for $20 and they would have been in the theater. You have like a family movie night. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did with the Scooby movie, which was horrible. by
Oh,
the
so
way.
did I.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
my kids love that movie.
Yeah, you're wrong. It was bad. Your kids are wrong.
Did you watch Hamilton though?
I've not.
I only watched half of it, and I've only still watched half of it. I mean, it's great, and I've enjoyed it, but it's just one of those that I it's a lot to take in one sitting because it's like 3 hours
Yeah,
long.
it's really long. But
But it's fantastic.
I barely turned on the TV the last couple of weeks, but I started Hamilton like 2 weeks ago, Chris, and I stopped halfway because again, it's 3 hours. I just finished it on Sunday night, and I will say it got really, really good, and I got really into it. So I don't think you'll have a problem finishing the second half.
It's very good. Hey, back to the Little League thing. The other thing that I love about it too is you're used to Little League being early in the spring. So you get those cold games. You get a lot of rainouts typically.
Mm-hmm.
We had no rainouts. We just on Saturday, that was our last game. We were done with the season now, and we had 0 rainouts. I tell you what, every single evening was beautiful for baseball. So I'm going to miss that when we go back to having early spring baseball again, and every other
Oh, yeah.
game is a rainout, and you're out there with umbrellas in the miserable cold thinking about, if we could just go a month later, it's just absolutely gorgeous because that's what we had all season.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's 2020 has been pretty shitty, but the weather so far has been pretty nice. So we'll take that. All right, Chris, I got a would you rather for you. If you're golfing, would you rather, especially if you're going with JW or Nathan Zagura, would you rather get a 10 on a hole or share a cart with someone who only wants to discuss Lindor's contract negotiations?
Oh, give me the 10. Give me the 10. At
You're
least I'll have
gonna get a
story
10
there.
in front of JW, who's a scratch golfer.
I know, yeah. Well, I played over the weekend, my second round of this season.
How'd you play?
And the first 9, I was even par. So I was even par my first 18, then my first 9 in this round. And then the second round, I shot a 44, which is 8 over par.
Ouch.
And ended up shooting an 80. It was a complete meltdown. So I could have easily snuck a 10 into that round, that second half of the round there. So I bring on a 10. I've been there. I've ridden that ride before. I've made it home safely.
Nice. All right, let's do some bold predictions. Get out of here. It's 10 o'clock.
Bold predictions.
All right, Bree, putting you on the spot with a
Oh, boy.
bold prediction for this week.
All right, I have nothing sports related, but, and keep me honest here, because I don't actually go to bars, but
Okay.
Governor DeWine is going to shut down bars again.
Yeah, that's probably true. Are masks required now in Ohio or no?
No, not yet.
I think
It's
they are.
strongly recommended.
Okay.
Well,
I
it's
think they
county
are
by
here
county.
in Cuyahoga, in Cleveland, but maybe I made that up. I don't know.
It's county by county. They've got that 4-level assessment of every county and the warning level. And if you're high enough, then you have to wear masks. So Licking County is high enough. Thank you very much, Newark and Heath.
All right, I'm gonna
Pulling
go.
my
I'm gonna go Tribe for this week. We're gonna sweep the Royals. 3
Ooh, that's a good way
and
to
0.
start the season.
3-0.
Starting that 22-game winning streak, off the
That's
bat.
right. 48-12. Oh man. Chris, what do you got? Bold prediction for this week.
Yu Chang's going to make the roster. Not only that, he's going to hit a home run in that Kansas City series.
Wow.
Makes the roster, has a clutch home run in that Kansas City series.
Well,
I
we
love Yu
we,
Chang.
we better
He's my
have
number
him
one.
on the show so he can actually do that.
That's right, because it's working out for everybody else who's been on the show from the Indians.
That's right. And Mike Freeman's probably going to hit 3 home runs this weekend too.
Yeah, Mike Freeman, it has worked out for him.
That's right.
Kind
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflog show. We will see you guys next Monday night. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Shack News and Cleveland Clothing Company. Thanks to Bobby for joining the show. And we will see you guys next week.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kinsler from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air. Boom shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn